Well, it's time to talk about this topic. Nazis on drugs. Or better, Pervitin and the Wehrmacht. Whereas Pervitin is basically methamphetamine, which is usually called meth, because I just probably pronounced it wrong. And a few years ago there came a book out, I think it was called the Totale Rausch in German, by Ohler. And I actually watched a short interview of him, I think on BBC, and he noted this was mainly ignored by historians, which is rubbish. And I tried to read up on the whole issue, and there's one article from Steinkamp which is referred usually, and the thing is, it's rather inconclusive. It's rather thin, but he did a PhD on alcohol abuse and drug abuse in the Wehrmacht and everything. So this is the thing, it's not as straightforward as some people proclaim it, because I have people that drop me comments like, yeah, the Germans won initially because they were all on drugs. So here's the thing, what we know. What do we know? Pervitin was available pre-war in late 1937. So it was commercialized, it was available in huge numbers. So this was not some secret wonder weapon. Then the military was interested, yet there was no official field study because it was prolonged. They started and then they interrupted it and again. So on the highest level it was not used by the Wehrmacht, yet it was used to large numbers during Poland and especially in France, during Fall Gelb, case yellow. And there was in April 1940 the Weckmittelerlass. And it's very important, it warns about the damage. So it says, okay, be careful here. You should only give it in certain circumstances, not too much. And on the other aspect, and Steinkamp notes that this warning was as necessary as was it useless. Now, officially they bought about 35 million pills. And yet beforehand there was also a lot of non-sanctioned private usage. So even before the war, students used it for their exams because they also felt the confidence was boosted and everything. But also one of the leading Wehrmacht doctors talked to Wehrmacht doctors, and they know that, yeah, we use those privately. So they used it to party longer or to get rid of a hangover. And this is the main issue. If you use drugs, they will always abuse them. So performance enhancing drugs always have a drawback. And if you think more strategically, well, there's the thing. Do you use it or don't you use it? So during the Battle of France, Pervitin was used extensively. The question is, did it have a decisive impact? Some claim yes, yet one historian basically notes no. He notes, well, the bottleneck was the logistics and not the combat effectiveness or the wake-upness of the soldiers. And another aspect is, in June 1941, it was made illegal. So Pervitin was made illegal under the opium law. Of course, it was still used. Now you needed an issue from a doctor or something, and it was still used, but less. So if it had been as decisive, why would the Nazis then turn down the use of it and make it illegal and make it harder to get and everything else? The other aspect is, with a wonder weapon, if it was commercially available before the war, why nobody got their hands on it and why nobody else used it that extensively? The other thing is, of course, drugs and warfare isn't something particularly new. I mean, there's always usually a lot of drugs and a lot of, for instance, alcohol or cigarettes usually available to soldiers. I think the cigarette actually originated in the Crimean War. So this is not something particularly new. So also for me it was like, okay, yeah, drugs. It's drugs in war. Yeah, is this something particularly new? I mean, it's like cats are cute. It just happens. I mean, the war is extreme stress. Extremes in every way, and of course there will be drugs. I mean, seriously guys, And then the other thing is, which people usually say, oh, the drugs were so important and everything else. Okay, how many meth addicts do you know that are in CEO position, or that are very important in our society, or they get a lot of shit done? I don't know any. Maybe they are all, but the thing is, a bunch of meth addicts or people on meth, they don't accomplish very much. The important thing is you need tactics, you need doctrine, you need discipline, you need leadership, you need organization, you need trading and everything else. This is what gets it. And then you add the drugs, of course, they have a performance, they increase the performance for a certain time, but then you also have more downtime or the risk of death of a certain amount of people, which also happened. But with all the other stuff, it doesn't happen. It's like you say, like, you build a house and it's a really beautiful house, and then you put the right color on it and it looks even better. Yeah, if you just throw the color on the ground, it just doesn't look like anything. So you have to build the house and everything else. This is the thing. But since drugs and Nazis are usually very sensationalist, and also simplicity, so sensationalism sells, simplicity sells, yeah, and Nazis also sell, so we get stuff like this, that, oh yeah, it was all about the drugs. No, it wasn't. It's way more complex. Always multiple factors at work, and if you want to drill it down to one factor, it was certainly not drugs. Because if it had been, there would have been way more extensive usage by the Wehrmacht and also at least by the Red Army, and probably by others as well. They were used by others as well, but that it had this tremendous effect is, I think, utter bullshit. It had some effect, but yeah, I mean, imagine like Band of Brothers, they don't train them. They just, yeah, you have a bunch of pills and we drop you in Normandy. Yeah, let's see what happens. So I hope I cleared up some stuff here, so be a bit cautious when people make bold claims about stuff. It's usually bullshit. They just want to sell you something. So thank you for watching and see you next time.